Alright guys, we're back for our second video for Bahamut control. In this one we'll be going over the stones as well as the sideboard and other possible choices for this deck. So let's get into it. So first one we have is Feethsing Holy Windstone. This card is very good in that lets us produce our green mana that we need for early for our elves as well as our cats. It also lets us protect our J-Ruler or Resonators, or even stop your opponent from targeting their own things by paying green mana and tapping itself. So again, very versatile, true stone. The next one we have is 4 Magic Stone of Blasting Waves. Again, produces green, which we need for the early drops, but it also provides us our red for later in the game, should we need it for our Blazers, or even our spells such as Crime and Punishment. So again, card, really important stone to have in our deck. The next one we have is a Magic Stone of Black Silence. This is at a 1 of now, but that's it's because of the stones that are coming after this stone. But again, produces green, but we need the black for our Flame of Outerly World. But at the same time, we do not want to be paying life for our future lands. So another chance to give us black for free. The next 2 we have is 2 Magic Stone of Moonshade. Again, this one will produce any of the 3 colors we need, which is green, black, or red. Again, will cost us 200 life, but again, that's why we have the other lands that will produce the same color we do need, but without paying life. So we're not forced to play life just to play our outer worldly flame. Okay, the next one we actually also complements well with this, which is 2 Magic Stone of Moonlight. Now I know it might seem like a bad idea to have 2 of these because, you know, why not just put a third shade in one of this. The reason is that because we do run cards like Gardea, we can have semi-control over this. Now if we should get double of this turn 1 and turn 2 anyway, there's no stopping that. Even if I had this and say we got the black stone, but I needed red that turn, it actually wouldn't matter. So having 2 of this I feel is fine, especially when we run cards like Gardea. We don't have to worry too much about it. So that's why we run Magic Stone of Moonlight. It is at a 2 of, so that we can produce any color we need at free. Okay, the next part we'll be going over is the sideboard. The sideboard consists of 15 cards. The first one is Christie, the Wind Tracker. This card is very important against cards, against rulers that are imperishable, such as other Bahamut decks, as well as Dracula and the new Kaguya, which all have imperishable. So by being able to J-activate, killing it, and because it negates the effects, she also stops all of the imperishable effects. Therefore, we actually finally kill it. Also later in the game, if she's still a ruler, you can even use it to just keep tapping to draw cards should we run out of mana to make. Also keeps our hand big, so that way we can counter our opponents. We need to actually eventually to start outpace them in card advantage, because we just have more cards than them at all times. The next card we have is 3 Rapid Decays. So this card is really good. Lets you kill any resonator that costs 2 or less. So again, being able to kill like your opponent's Tinkerbell, which is way over the power of being able to burn it with like Flame of Outerly World, or you know, just being able to stop something that is 2-drop or lower that you just can't deal with, and you need a small 1 mana thing, you know, that can just kill it. That way we can still hold up counter spells. We don't have to waste our turn just killing one thing. The next one we have is 4 Awakening at the End. I remember when this card was spoiled, I immediately liked it. It was one where I was like, okay, I knew I have to make a control deck that runs this card. Again, but it is in the sideboard because if your opponent's playing a control deck, they won't have any resonators, and therefore this card actually becomes useless in your hand. But against certain decks, you may want to put it, also because it does -7 to -7. It does kill almost every resonator in the, if they're using any resonators from the new Moon Priestess Return set, because they were designed, I guess, that way, so that way this card doesn't seem terrible. But it is important to note that our Gardea does not die to Awakening at the end. It will be a 100/100, but it will go back at end of turn. So that's why this card is really good, and it helps us wipe. Again, that's also why we need for the double black. Very important. The next card we have is 4 Bloody Moon. So Bloody Moon is actually used for when we're going first. So say we lost game 1, or if say we won game 1, we lose game 2, and then game 3 when we're going first, we'll probably side this in. You can even side it in even if you're not going first for game 2. If you know your opponent is running triple color, or they're running, say, Scheherazade, where their first stone is the important stone that they need, which is usually likely the 5 color stones, and we just need to pop it. So the point would be to turn 1, Elvish Priest, turn 2, hopefully have a red stone by then, play a Bloody Moon, blow up their land. That way you just have more. That way you have more mana than them, and you can just keep controlling the game where they don't have enough mana to play more than one spell a turn, so you can take your time countering the things that you want to counter and not have to worry about other things getting out of control. This card is probably questionable at a 4 of. I might cut it to 3 or less depending what happens in our meta as the game goes forward. The last card we have is 3 Savior of Splendor. So now this card is, again, same thing like the idea of Rapid Decay, in that it's a cheap removal spell, but it is instant speed. But it lets us kill only one type of creature, which is the one creature we don't want to deal with, which is Mephistopheles, the 1500. So again, we don't want to be dealing with that guy. So if we don't have the counter spell for it, we can save the counter, or if we have this in our hand, we can save the counter spell for something else later, but then kill the creature with this. It also removes it so they can't use like Necronomicon to bring it back. It's also important to know that because this is a white card, again, this is why it's important that we have Magic Stone of Moonshade as well as Moonstone of Lights, that we don't pay life to play this card. And as well as Gardea to search for one of these stones should we need it for this card in our deck. Okay. So that's it for the sideboard. Now there are 2 cards I would actually like to put in this deck, but I'm deciding what to cut. The first of which is Oz, the Great Wizard. So this card is really good in that it hits so many cards in our deck, right? You know, for our sideboard, it hits both Savior of Splendor as well as Rapid Decay. So it lets us search for the card we need at the time and when we need it. It also is a 600 body, so again, not too bad. But even in the main deck, it also searches for cards like our Duel of Truth and Crime and Punishment. Now, the idea was to take out maybe our Gardea for Oz, but by taking out Gardea, we don't ensure our white first, like Savior, or even the right color we need. So the idea was maybe go 2 and 2, but I'll probably experiment a little later because I like it as is, where the Gardea fits in the role, but being able to search your deck out, you know, thinning the deck again, something we probably want to be doing as the game progresses. The last card I want to put in, now, I know this might seem biased, but as you can tell by the playmat, this Little Dread, the Fake Red Moon, is probably one of my favorite cards. Every time I build a deck that contains red, I always try to put her in it, always put her at a 4, but in the end she ends up getting cut because she just doesn't make the cut. She's a little too slow, especially for the format here in Hawaii. But I do want to put her in because I am a control deck, so I'll have late game where I do want to play her, being able to kill. Also recently the Japanese Spring Open had the top 2 Grim decks were actually running, or the top one that won, the red-blue Odd Grim, was actually running her at a 1 of, and it actually did very well where it can untap my own stuff, right? You know, you can tap your own Blazer and kill their thing and just swing with the Blazer again. It also has 800, so it gets through Awakening at the end. But again, I feel Gardea or Oz might be a better choice over Little Dread, despite her being one of my favorite cards for this game. That is it for Bahamut Control. Again, I'll have the deck list in the description below. Make sure, if you guys like this video, please hit the like button. I'll be doing more deck profiles as I go along. Try to do most deck profiles of decks I created, but if you want me to maybe do a deck profile of certain decks, maybe go over maybe some of the strategies for certain rulers or things like that. If you have any requests, put them in the box and then I'll see what I can do. But for the most part, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed Faltgold of Dragoon, Faltgold or Bahamut Control. One thing to note too, I want to mention that again, this deck is the sideboard and the main deck is built around the meta here in Hawaii. At the locals that I play at, you know, we experiment with decks all the time, and you know, it comes down to where it's knowing your meta deck. or your meta game of what your opponents are playing. So like in Japan, you know, the Spring Open, they had so many Grims running around, but